Hello there, and welcome to the third and final video in this series. I'm Jeffrey Martin, a research professor and director of the Transformative Technology Lab at Sophia University in the heart of Silicon Valley, where we direct the Finder's Course experiment that helps many people reach so-called higher states of consciousness in between 2 and 17 weeks. In the last two videos, you learned about the true nature of higher states of consciousness and why most people fail to achieve them, despite their best efforts, due in part to simply an incorrect approach to meditation. Essentially, they fail to account for their individuality when they begin to experiment with different types of meditation. As you know, we're on a mission to fix that, and so today we'd like to invite you to join our Finder's Course program, which is an online experimental study that we've been conducting for nearly 3 years. Simply put, the Finder's Course is an online program that's designed to guide you safely and reliably into persistent forms of higher levels of consciousness, where your day-to-day experience of life is characterized by things like a deep sense of well-being and a knowing that everything is fundamentally okay. We're able to do this because for over 10 years we've been researching and distilling down the most effective forms of meditation and positive psychology. The program takes you through 26 of the most effective variations of meditation that we've found out of the hundreds that we've examined, and it helps you to determine which ones are most likely to help you make the transition. Up until now, there have been 9 cohorts who have experienced the Finder's Course. The first 4 constituted our primary experiment. In them, an astonishing 73% of participants who successfully completed the course reported transitioning in less than 17 weeks. Another 26% reported having temporary experiences of higher states, which were often deepening and heading in the right direction. In other words, 99% of our program participants either transitioned persistently into these higher levels of consciousness or were beginning to experience the early forms of it. We used Finder's Course 5 through Finder's Course 8 to test variations on the program and to continue to refine it. So, for instance, we let people from earlier cohorts retake it for the first time. We let some well-known spiritual teachers take the course. And we did a couple of offline groups at a famous spiritual site in India. You get the idea. To our great surprise, the program was not only powerful for those people who wanted to transition to higher states, but also for those who are already in it. It actually helped those individuals to deepen their existing experiences of these higher states of consciousness. In Finder's Course 10, we're fully embracing the quantified self movement. We're going to be using easy-to-use at-home brainwave, heart rate, skin conductance, and other types of sensors that will be able to measure the effects of these 26 variations of meditation on your physiology. Our team of leading scientists is then going to analyze all of this data that we collect in an effort to make precision meditation available for the first time in human history. What do we mean by that? Well, imagine this. Imagine that you could simply and easily use the very same heart rate strap that people that exercise use all around the world right now, but in this case, to use it to tell which type of meditation was best for you, which one helped you relax the most, which one to use when you needed to focus, and even which one was best in order to move further into higher states of awareness. Now, take that a step further and imagine that this same device and the analysis of that data could also tell you what time of day to practice, how long you should practice, how many days a week were optimum for you, and so on. This is what we mean by precision meditation. And these are the types of things that we believe that we can learn in this next version of the Finder's Course. You probably have a lot of questions about the program, so we invite you to ask them in the comment section below this video. And we've also prepared a detailed overview of the Finder's Course program so that you can make an informed decision as to whether you want to be part of it. You'll find the link to that below this video as well. Our aim is to help you personally achieve and live from these higher levels of consciousness, and also to use the findings from this experimental program to further advance the cause of scientifically validated meditation practices so that they can be scaled up and adopted by the mainstream. So, and as you know, society right now is absolutely plagued by an epidemic of stress and anxiety, anger, general human suffering. By continuing to advance the intersection between science and spirituality, we can dramatically improve the effectiveness of time-tested methods by moving them increasingly towards data-driven, non-biased, and personalized directions. In other words, more effective directions for you at an individualized level. Our results so far have been nothing short of staggering. We can't stress how grateful we are to have been at the epicenter of participants making these extraordinary gains within just weeks during the program. In fact, let me show you a small sample of the feedback that we've received.
Prior to starting the course, I was quite severely depressed, probably bordering on suicidal, although I would never have committed suicide, but my general manner and feeling about life was pretty grim. Just a constant battle of worry and anxiety all the time. I had to think quite hard about that because all that's gone now, absolutely gone. So quite a different place from where I was just barely 6 months ago. The change for me is almost incomprehensible. Everything is absolutely perfect. And I've no desire to change anything or run off in this direction or that direction because I feel quite comfortable and things are as they are, and I'm being looked after, and I feel part of a huge whole of which you're me and I'm you and everything is. It's quite difficult to put words to.
Well, I was pretty much a happy person before the course. How do you explain a transformation from happiness to extreme happiness? There's just an inner joy. It just doesn't matter what's going on, the life situation. I have infinite patience. All judgment has just totally dissolved when you reach that state of oneness and beingness and realize we are all one. So that all goes toward an inner peace, the patience, the calmness, the stillness, and the being.
As you can see, our participants are having very powerful experiences. And most importantly, for a majority of them, it's a persistent change. We're not talking about a temporary state here. We're not talking about something like a peak experience. This is a persistent change that people are experiencing at the very deepest levels of themselves. Finders Course 10 is going to open in a few days, and over 100,000 people have already seen this video, but we've only got the capacity to analyze data for 2,000 participants, and so that's where we're going to have to cap the class size. Please take your time and read through the course overview. Check out our research findings, and of course, watch some more of the feedback videos from participants. I think once you do all of that, you'll know whether this program is right for you. Soon we're going to be holding a live Q&A webinar where you can attend to ask any questions you have to both myself and Nicole. We're going to do that before we open the admissions process so that you can have all of your questions answered first. But you know, if you're interested in this, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you take time to do your homework and to learn everything that you can about this program before enrollment opens, because every single time we've run one of these experiments in the past, they have filled up very, very quickly, and we expect the same thing to be the case this time. All right, thank you very much. We can't wait to help you persistently transition into these higher levels of consciousness, just as we've done with so many others during the previous experiments.
When we began the course, I feel like I was in a really good place. The Finder's course, I think, really just kind of helped push me over that last kind of hurdle. Something I'd been looking for my whole life, really, was this transcendent experience that I've, read about and heard about, and all of my great heroes, all had experiences with, and I had no idea that there were techniques to have the experience, to just kind of sort of try it on like a good suit, you know, and just say, oh, well, that's what it feels like. That's really nice.
Before I took the course, I was pretty happy most of the time, but I could still get irritated with people sometimes, and things didn't go my way. And I definitely pretty much had an idea of how I thought everything should go. So that would be a source of some of my frustration. And with taking the course, in time I found a lot more acceptance of not only others, but of myself. And even happier. The times when things might disturb me, they're at a much lower level and don't hang around very long at all. A lot of times it doesn't even bother me. I'm just aware that, oh, that would have bothered me in the past. So I really like that, because I would talk to myself, you know, okay, you shouldn't let this bother you, blah, blah, blah. And I would do all this self-talk. And now almost all the time it's just automatic. Just experience a feeling of love.
I was a very angry person, very negative, very much wanting to be left alone by everyone and everything, but in a very negative sort of way. I didn't find a lot of pleasure in anything I did. All of that has fallen away. I have a very, very deep sense of happiness, of well-being. I'm not angry anymore. I released it all, and I just feel totally contented with life now.